Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the mirror universe. We are going to be talking about obviously how to traverse it. We're going to go through the basics of this. This is not going to include things like crewing. This is going to include how to navigate, how to work your way around it, and all the different currencies, etc. that are going to be involved. So if you want to understand the basics of how the mirror universe works, this is the video for you. So stay tuned as we dive straight into this, and remember, press the subscribe button, like if you like it already, and drop any comments or questions down below and I will be sure to answer those for you. But let's dive into the mirror universe. Right, let's talk about where you start. So the mirror universe is located to the south of a standard Klingon space. So right down to the bottom here, you will see this mirror universe system. Now, visually, when you look at it, you will see that you've got grey sections and then a more greener section over the side here. Okay, now this is important. The greyer sections are the common space. Okay, and over to the left-hand side, you've got this cluster of systems here, which are technically not within the mirror universe. So hostiles where you need to, events where you need to kill mirror hostiles generally will not count in these first initial systems. They are more for missions and just for like an entry point. Where it starts is here. So this grayed out section here is common mirror space. So this is going to use common transfer tokens, I will show you in a second. You've then got the green section, which is uncommon space. So quite common, obviously grey for common, green for uncommon. Do you know what I mean? They've sort of stuck to the remainder of how Star Trek works, just to understand the different sort of gas clouds that we've got in there. And then you'll also notice that we've got several of these gold systems. The gold systems are the premium systems, which I'm going to talk to you about again in a second. So in terms of accessing, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the entry systems and I'm going to show you how that works. So these three systems, so Mirror Alpha Centauri, Wolf and Sirius, these are your three gateway systems. So these three gateway systems, if we dive, you can see my ship is currently sat in Sirius. And in Sirius we can see we've got an entry rift to Mirror Andoria. And what you need to do in order to be able to use these is you need to click and you need to set course to it, very similar to an Armada. So basically you're going to join it as if it was an Armada circle. Now, once you are in the circle, so we'll see here that my Voyager is going to approach, and once it's in, it's there. There we go. It's now in. You can then, similar to the Armadas again, you can click the flag. When you click the flag, you have the option to use the rifts. Now, in order to use just in these first three systems, you need to use an entry token to get into the mirror systems. Okay, so the first currency we're going to talk about is the mirror vouchers. Now, this is the only time you will use a mirror voucher, is to do this initial joining of, or the initial entry of mirror space, and this costs 300, and the sourcing for these is going to be in essence one per day. However, it's sort of set up as a bulk play mechanic, which basically means that once this first arc is out of the way and gift chests and obviously all that sort of stuff has been used up, you are going to get 900 of these tokens on a 3-day cooldown. And what the mirror voucher do, once we click that, it will then use this rift, and you can see entry to Mirror Andoria. You just saw my ship then warp out. And then if you do nothing, if you've already explored the system, it will take you directly into the system, as I have done. Or if not, obviously, you will have to go back into your galaxy menu or just press locate on your ship to get into the system. So we are now in mirror space, okay? And obviously, as you can see, this looks very different. And these hostiles are the starting hostiles of where you can start doing them for events. Now, next thing. This system would allow us to go to 3 different points, and that's quite evident when we look up here. We can see Mirror Andoria. We've got 3 different warp paths, 1 to Archer, 1 to Tau Ceti, and 1 to Ganalda. Now, Ganalda being one of those special premium systems. And because these two are both in common space, if we wanted to use those rifts, we would be using the currency, which is the common rift key. Common space, common rift key. Nice and simple. Now, the gold flashy system, so Mirror Ganalda in this example, is a premium system. So the premium system, if we wanted to use this exit point, into the premium mirror universe, we would need to use premium rift keys. Okay, in terms of costs, what I'll do is I'll really quickly show you. The premium bundles actually cost you 40 to be able to use, so it's going to cost you 40 premium tokens. for you to use a premium rift key, and I'll explain why you would use the premium rift keys and the premium bundles in a second. But you can see here, if I click on the flag again to try and use it, use rift, it wants to use 40 of the premium keys. Whereas if we go over to the common ones, the common cost is 100 common rift keys. Okay, so the common rift keys is 100. Wait for it to get there. There we go. And we click it, and we want to use a rift. There we go, because it's 100 common rift keys for you to then be able to traverse into another common system. So what you need to do is when you're planning your route to where you want to be, and if you want an idea of where you want to be thinking about your similar ops level and your faction hostiles that you can kill, that's where you want to sort of be aiming. So like for myself, I'm sort of working on trying to get up here to Miravalata, which is a level 60 system. And one thing to note, so there are now going to move on to the, sorry, we'll carry on with the premium currencies. So when you enter into a premium rift, what that allows you to do is it allows you to exit for free. Okay, so it doesn't actually cost you anything for you to actually leave that rift. So if we go and join this, and then we move into Mira Ganalda, it will not cost us anything to then get back out of it. So the next step is in essence free. So for 40 tokens, what that's going to allow me to do, if we use this rift, it will then warp out. Give it a second, and it'll put me over here in Mira Ganalda. Now, when I want to leave, obviously I'm going to then use Mira Altera. This is the only option for this, and you'll notice that these mirror systems have got mines for mining the raw Trellium A. We're going to talk about what the Trellium does in a second, because the Trellium is the loot that is being used for this loop. Obviously, these currencies I'm talking about are literally, in essence, like Borg tokens or warp cells, but just how to use them and how to navigate them. So when you want to go in, it's going to cost you 40 of the premium rift keys, but however, when you want to leave, you're going to traverse over to the exit point of the system, but you can use the rift. You can see it's not going to cost me anything to take that next jump. Now, why would you want to use the premium rift keys? Is literally to save you jumps, because every single jump in common space, so if we were going to go from Andoria to Tau Ceti to Miradolan to Han, we are going to in essence go 1, 2, 3. So we would use 300 common sets of rift keys for us to get to Mira Han. But let's say, for example, I wanted to get to where I wanted to be in Mira Valletta. If I don't use the premium systems down here, look, which let me go in essence 1, and then I can go from Mira Altera and up there. So I can go for 1, 2, 3 in uncommon space. And again, it's the same cost. So in essence, it's going to cost me 300 of the uncommon rift keys, which are yet another currency. And I've used 40 of the premium rift keys to use this. So it's cost me 300 uncommon, it's cost me 0 in the common rift keys. Whereas if I wanted to avoid the premium systems, I would have to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 common rift keys, and then 300 of the uncommon. So you can see that is the purpose of the premium lines, is literally just to get you to the next levels of systems much, much faster, which obviously is a nice thing. So you can see now that because I've got the option of going into Arcanus, and Arcanus is a common system, but Mirror Hoven, the extract system, so extract systems I'll talk to you about in a second, this is moving into uncommon space. So if we wanted to go back, just quickly grab my ship. So if we wanted to go into Arcanus, the common system, which is again really easily identifiable by the colours. So the grey ones use common rift keys, and then this one up here to Hoven is using uncommon rift keys. But then the uncommon rift keys, which again are slightly less sourced, if I'm being really honest with you. Like I say, with the common ones, I've got 3,700 of those. But I can see I've actually run out of the uncommon ones, which we're going to talk about how to get more of those in a second when we start talking about the refinery. Okay, so then obviously, so in essence, this system's got pretty much everything that we want to see. So we've got the premium, obviously, if we want to use those, and then we've got the common and the uncommon rift keys as well. So how do you actually source the rift keys? So when we've been talking about this, obviously, there is a brand new refinery bundle up here in the Mirror Universe tab. So you can see I've got 6 different chests in here that we can use. Now, the vouchers. So remember, the vouchers are literally just from the 3 entry systems to actually get into Mirror space, and you can pull these at a rate of 900 on a 3-day cooldown, and they do have the chance, it's a very small chance, oh, it's telling me that I can't do it. But there's a very small chance of actually dropping an exocomp, which is going to improve either your mining speed or improve your hostile loot as well. But ignore those for now, because I've not actually seen one of those drop for anybody yet. If they have, drop it down in the comments. Let me know that you've got that. But 3 entries on a 3-day cooldown. That's the first bundle. Second bundle, okay, is purely for Ops 61 plus, and this is giving you the option to get even more of the common rift keys. But obviously, it's a 61 plus bundle. There is a 51 plus bundle, and obviously a 41 plus bundle, and that scales for 400, 500, and 600, depending on the grade that you are actually at. Other bundles are your refineries for converting the raw Trellium A and your raw Trellium D. So your raw Trellium A pays out mirror dust. Now, dust is another name for, in essence, research materials. So research materials, so the stuff that you need to actually complete the research in the new tree, and also liquid Trellium D, which we'll talk about in a second. And then the Trellium D refinery is paying out yet more dust. This is your opportunity to get epic dust as well for the epic variations of research, and yet even more liquid Trellium D. Then, looking in the trade downs, this is an important one because this actually gives you the ability for you to trade down your different types of rift keys. So, for example, if we start at the end here, we can trade down premium into uncommon rift keys, which I'm going to do to allow me to traverse into the extract system to show you. So it costs 20 of the premium rift keys to get 100 uncommon rift keys so that you can move again in an uncommon system. You've also got a premium here, a conversion of 10 to get 100 common rift keys. So the premium currency is really valuable because it's not only just used for, in essence, the super highways of mirror space, it's also used so that you can get extra jumps in all of the other places as well. You've then got a trade down dust for of the epic into rare, the rare into uncommon, and then the uncommon into common, and this is specifically for the research particles. And I would suggest, obviously, looking at this, obviously at the start, you're going to be using a helm of a lot more of the common than you are the uncommon, so it could be a case where you convert down to get some more research done, but then over time you're going to start wanting to stop getting rid of your epics and rares as you progress further and further into the tree. So that's the refinery, and obviously it might look a bit more complicated than what it was, but it's not. And then the final thing, which is I think the exciting part of it, do you remember the liquid Trellium D that we get by converting the raw Trellium A and Trellium D? We actually get that liquid stuff, and what do you use the liquid Trellium for? This is for basically you choose whatever you want to do. So you can choose to advance your holodeck faster by spending the liquid Trellium D on extra hollow field amplifiers. You can use it to get resources in the game and include Sigma for G6, which is brilliant, and decent amounts as well. Another source for tier up catalysts and proto matter for your forbidden tech. I wish to stop putting reactors in these things. We've all got thousands of those now. NX01 sourcing, all of the NX01 officers are put in here as well, which is nice, so it's full sourcing for those. You can get rift key exchanges, so if you want even more rift keys from this, you can spend your liquid Trellium to get even more rift keys. Obviously there's a chance of getting premiums, you've got uncommons and commons in here as well, just to give you even more of the travel stuff. And then you've got the mirror dust exchange, so to get even more of the research particles. And the good thing about this is you can choose how much you want to do of each one. This is a choose your own reward type of loop, which I think is brilliant. A couple of quick things to note. You only have 20 minutes from when you use your initial tickets. Your initial tickets to actually get into the mirror system, you only have a 20-minute timer. So you can see I'm down to 6 minutes on mine. When that timer runs out, you will be taken back into the system that you first entered mirror space in. You won't be sent back to your base. And remember, while you are in mirror systems, there is no protected cargo. So you can, if you get hit, you will lose everything in your cargo if you lose. And likewise, if you die to a hostile, this is the only time this happens in the game, if you die to a hostile, you will also lose all of your cargo. So be very mindful when you're grinding things that you maybe don't want to die if you want to keep what's in your cargo. Now, that's not such a huge issue, and that's because of the sheer disparity between what comes in the hostiles and what comes in the chests. So we have a chart. This chart is available on our Discord. Link to that is down below. But you can see here what you get in terms of all the different systems, what you get from the hostiles in terms of Trellium and things, and then compare that to what you get in the chest. It's like a 4x variance of what you get in loot compared to the chests. Some chests have mins and maxes, so a higher and a lower amount. So if you look at Mirror Barclay, the 61 system, you're going to get 5,300 from the actual hostile. This is obviously base costs, but then obviously the chests, you've got the option of either 3,000 or 34,000. Which obviously is quite a big disparity. So you've got to weigh up where's going to be the right thing for you to do. And the other way for you to get out of these systems is to use the extract systems. So I'm going to send my Voyager. Obviously you saw me claim the other uncommon rift keys. We're going to take that into the extract system. And what that's going to allow us to do is to see that we have an extract point. So the extract point allows you to get, it's the only way to get out of mirror space. You cannot recall, you cannot disco, you cannot use the Gorn, you can't use any of those ships to be able to pull yourself back. Or the only way to get out of the system is for the 20-minute timer to run out or for you to use an extract zone. And the extract zones, like I say, are here. I'll quickly show you that. Here we go. So when you want to go in, get into the circle, and then you can use the rift. It's because it's absolutely free, and that will then take you out of mirror space. So as mentioned, obviously that exit point has then sent me back to Mirror Wolf, because that was where the exit zone, the extract zone, actually told me that it was going to send me to. So it's took me back to Wolf. Now the extract zones you can see quite easily from the names. You can see here that Odysseia is an extract zone. Obviously the one we just used was an extract zone, but they are clearly marked in the brackets there within the system, so you can see where the extract zones are. And remember, like I said to you, there is no... If you get extracted because your time runs out, remember your time shows when you click on the ship that is in the zone, it will show here next to your captain's head. If you didn't see that earlier, that's where the time is. When your time runs out, you will just be sent back to a system at some point in the system, and then obviously you will then be susceptible to hits out here. Now, what you do get though when you leave Mirror Universe is obviously you then get your protected cargo back. So your protected cargo, look, you can see that you get your line back down here in the UI menu down here. So you get your protected cargo. So if you know what your protected cargo is on your ship and you don't grind as much as that, you are free obviously to come back here and you don't have to recall straight away. However, I would suggest doing that if you are definitely going to go over cargo. So I want to really quickly, one more time, just run through the different currencies that we're going to have within the Mirror Universe space. So it all starts off with your actual rift, your actual mirror vouchers. Your mirror vouchers are what you are going to use to get out of the three systems, Alpha Centauri, Wolf, and Sirius. That's what you're going to use to get out of those actual tokens. You are then going to, dependent on the rarity of the space, whether it be this grey space, common, or whether it be the green space of uncommon, you are then going to use the uncommon or the common rift tokens to be able to navigate in those particular systems, and it is 100 per jump of each individual currency. The exception to that is the premium. So if you are going to access the premium systems, it will cost you 40 of the premium tokens that you need to do to actually get into the system. To exit that system is absolutely free. So in essence, if you wanted to go from Andoria to Alantea, you would pay 40 to get into the system, and it is free for you then to get to Altea, and you then use your uncommon tokens to get up into the higher echelons of the uncommon space. So that's the rift tickets. So you've got the entry tokens, you've got the commons, you've got the uncommons of the rift tickets, and then you've got the premium rift tokens. Rift tokens are exchangeable in your refinery, so you have the ability to do your trade downs if you want to, so you can trade premiums into both common and uncommon, and obviously you use your premiums very wisely if you do want to take advantage of the, in essence, super highways. The mirror dust, which you will see in 4 different rarities, so you will see common, uncommon, rare, and one that we haven't mentioned yet, which is premium. And the premium rare dust, and these all do correlate to different specific researches. If we dive into the research tree, you can see here, obviously in the new mirror research tree, they actually have names next to all of the individual researches. So you can see here, common, 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 common. These are using common dust in order for you to actually upgrade. You will then migrate over into the uncommon systems, which are, sorry, the uncommon researches, which are using uncommon dust for you to do. You then move across, you've then got your rare dust that you're going to use to do these researches. You've then got your epic dust that you're going to use to get to these. Now, because these are all linked, look, by trees, you've got to work your way through. And where we need to get to here, uncommon ship material building efficiency, for example, you've got to, in essence, get to the end of the previous generation of dust to be able to start using the new stuff. Where there is a slight discrepancy is in the premium. You can see that premiums here are opened up. The premium mirror dust. The premium mirror dust is earned by completing quantum events. Quantum events are a new name for the old heroic style events. I don't know whether we're going to see heroic as well, or whether everything's going to migrate across to quantum, but the quantum events, which are in essence spend events like this one here, which is updating your prime nodes, which as we know are spend only, will pay out this premium dust in order for you to complete that prime, so premier, platinum, what's it called? Premium, your premium mirror dust in order for you to be able to complete those research nodes. They are the materials, they are the tokens, they are the keys, okay? And then the only other thing to consider is the Trellium. So again, nice and simple, you can get raw Trellium A and raw Trellium D, which are got from either killing hostiles or by mining. Again, remember, use the chart that I've got to you. Massive shout out to Jules Verne, Blue Mandalorian, Silvers, all the team that have worked really hard on this to get all of the data in here as soon as possible. But you can find out which is going to be the right system. Like I say, some systems pay both. So some systems will pay Trellium A and Trellium D, as mentioned here. Some of them will only pay Trellium A. So be very, very conscious as to where you are grinding to make sure that you get it correct for you. You are going to refine the raw Trellium A into dust and liquid Trellium D. You are going to refine your Trellium D into uncommon mirror dust and epic mirror dust for your research and get even more liquid Trellium D. You're then going to take the liquid stuff into the liquid store, and the liquid store is where you get the choice of rewards to where you want to go. That's it. It's not too complicated once you get your head around it. Just understanding what the different currencies are, which is why I've gone through and just done you a quick recap on the currencies again, just so that you understand them. So basically, vouchers enter mirror space, rift keys to travel about. The whole point of being there is to acquire your Trellium A and Trellium D, which you're then going to come and refine, and you're then going to choose your different individual researches that you're going to do from the dust, and obviously pick your own choice from the Trellium D refinery. That is the loop in a nutshell. If you have any more questions or anything that you want explaining, please drop them down in the comments and let me know, and I will be sure to get to you and answer as many questions as I physically can in the comments down below. Press like, press subscribe, all those beautiful things, and share this out with your alliance. So many people have been asking questions about the basics, and that's why I wanted to get this video out to you all, just so that you could basically go through it and maybe understand it, rewind different bits that you maybe didn't understand, but hopefully this has given you a good idea. Please, as I've said already, press the subscribe button, check out itslube.com, where you can access all of our content from our Twitch link, our brand new podcast. Please check that out. It's brand new. It's a week old. Second episode is coming in the next couple of days. If you're listening to this at the time of launching the video, Brits and Yanks Talk Trek is our brand new podcast. You can find it on all major podcast platforms, but link to our Podbean website where you can access it on all the major platforms. You can find that down there. Please do that, and we want feedback and everything in relation to that podcast. Thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure to do this. I am looking forward to diving in. We will be exploring it even more on Twitch. But if you need anything, join our Discord as well, so that you can chat to the team and ask any questions that we can get answered for you. And remember, guys, that everything is better with lube. Take care. Have a wonderful day.